Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we are here to talk about the stock market. I am excited because you guys asked a question about JETS. That is the ETF that primarily invests in large U.S. airlines, like it says, JETS. So it's pretty cool ETF, and I thought, well, let me look into it. Let me compare it to some other things. I found a lot of information that is even more exciting than JETS. So I'll explain what JETS is, why I think travel stocks are very, very hot now, and a good place to kind of get into at this point in time, and then other things that you need to know about it. What is it invested in? All of those things. So I'll give you 6 ideas that I think are great travel stocks. One of them you're not going to think of immediately, but trust me, I think this still counts. And then I'll give you the one that I am most excited about that I did not have on my radar, did not even think about until I started looking into it. So I have my notes on an envelope. Don't judge me. And then I have questions that people were asking on public. So I'll be looking around as I do these to make sure I can address all the things possible. So for those that don't know, JETS is an ETF. Remember, ETF stands for Exchange Traded Funds. It's a bunch of stocks packaged together so that you don't have to go out and get it wrong. So you don't have to go out and guess with what airline you think is the best. Now, overall, I think that the airline industry, even though it still struggles financially, is still a decent place to invest right now. I did not feel this way this time last year. Why is that the case? Because I don't want you catching what are called falling knives, meaning, yes, it would have been great to kind of get airlines while they're low, but what is low? So if you got it at 100 and it kept falling and falling and falling, you would have continuously lost money. You would have sold at a loss, and then you would have been sitting around upset, which is what a lot of people did. So now that we have the vaccine, right? Like we got more information now. We have the vaccine. We know things are opening up. Memorial Day is around the corner. It's around that time to get up out the house, right? We've got new CDC regulations saying that if you and your friends been vaccinated, y'all can chill with your mask off, right? All this stuff we did not have this time last year. We did not know how long this thing was going to last. It's still a thing. It is not over yet, but we have way more information now. So now I'm more comfortable looking into it and investing in it. So I'm looking on public now to make sure I can answer any of the other questions that I had or that you guys asked about it. All right, so let's see. I don't see any huge questions. There's a huge paragraph I'm not reading right now, but I will try and address that. All right, so a few things. So the bonus to the ETF is a dividend. Why is JETS a 0% dividend? So that could be a lot of reasons why it has a 0 dividend. Let me, I want to double check that real quick. But one of the reasons is, so ETFs do pay dividends. If the stocks in it pay dividends, then the ETF will pay dividends. The question is, are these airlines paying dividends right now? Given what they went through last year, I wouldn't be paying dividends if I were an airline based on what happened last year, but that's just me. So I'm just typing in here JETS dividend ETF just to double check that. So it says an annual dividend, again, I'm just Googling and reacting to this in real time, is a penny, 0.04%. So that's not exciting. But for me, I don't invest for the dividend. If I get it, it's great. It's not a deciding factor for me. I'm more so looking for growth. So again, I think that's more so a function of how airline stocks may be. We know that margins are thin across the board for airlines. So for example, it's expensive to hire pilots, just to hire people in general, but you got pilots, you got people to clean the planes, fix the planes, jet fuel, and then the jets themselves. And these are capital intensive businesses, which is why they feel, not all, they don't have to. Southwest has been fine. That's why they feel that to charge all these extra fees for water, right? For movies, for baggage, all the stuff that we hate for the most part. They feel they have to add those things in to kind of make up for those thin margins. So this is one reason why Warren Buffett, he was in airlines, he's out of airlines. This is one of those reasons as to why. But over the last 6 months, I'm using 6 months as a good period because the last 6 months, this is what, November or so. I'm pulling this up now. So it's like mid-November, late October, around my birthday, was 6 months ago. So my birthday is October 29th. That'll be tomorrow. So about 6 months. We know data from UCLA tells us that 6 months to a year is relatively predictive of the next 6 months to a year. Now, I like to use 6 months for this specifically because we know the travel industry was really strange last year. We know a lot of stuff was cut off back in October, right before the election. We knew more information. There were some vaccines out there, but they were more for the elderly and for healthcare workers. So it kind of gives us a decent indication of what we could see before the real travel season starts. And then we did get a small travel season in terms of holidays. So this is right before that. And you saw a bump in a lot of these companies to a degree. So I think the last 6 months really gives us a good picture of our decision-making process. Doesn't predict the future, but it does help us there. So Jets over the last 6 months, as of right now, was up right around 49, almost 50%. And that's good. The overall stock market was up 23%. So anything above 23% is really good. And in this case, the stock market was up 23. So let me double check that number. Yes, 23% is what the S&P 500 did. So you're talking close to double that, which I'll take, right? I'll also say that of the rest of the stocks that I'm going to mention, this ETF is the safest in comparison to the rest because it has a collection of all these airline companies in it. For example, and I'm going to read this one from the screen as well. And you can look this up on your app too. You should be able to see this on public and everywhere else. So the top 10 holdings inside of this ETF, and this is 66% of the entire ETF is made up of these 10 companies. So there's a plus and minus here. So Southwest has the largest holding. They're my favorite actual airline. They are in the black now, so they're starting to make a profit again. And they were one of the few airlines that was pretty much profitable since 2007 or so. And it was the one that got closest to beating the market, if I'm not mistaken. So you got Southwest Airlines, that symbol is LUV. You got American, you got Delta, you got United. Then you got Allegiant at 4.99% of Jets is in Allegiant. Then you got Spirit, Alaska Air, ALK, JetBlue, SkyWest, and then Air Canada. I didn't even know they were public, but apparently they are in Canada. So you may need a Canadian app for that one. And that's at 3.31%. So the majority of this fund is in these 10 over the, I wouldn't say the vast majority, but most of it, 66%. So you can pick apart each of those airlines and see which one you think is best. Off of the quick research that I did, I'm pretty confident that Southwest is the best financial there. But when it comes to which one is the best performer, you might come around to Alaska Airlines, which is ALK. So that's the second one. ALK, which is Alaska Airlines, which I have never flown, never really crossed my mind before. They're up 84% in the past 6 months. Something to keep your eye on if you're someone looking to move into the travel industry. That might be one that most people don't think about. Most people immediately jump to American, Delta, and Southwest. In comparison, I'm going to pull up Southwest here too. I would show y'all this, but there's a lot of lines on here because I was comparing way too much before we hopped on today. So Southwest is up 54%, and then you got Alaska Airlines again at 84. You've got, I know some people tend to like Delta and American, so AAL is American. American Airlines is up 93%, so that's good, but they've taken a dip. So they had a really big high around March 15th and have kind of dipped significantly, but 93% is pretty good, especially for the last 6 months. And then you've got Delta. Get rid of American and then show you guys Delta, or I'll pull up Delta, DAL. Then you've got Delta at 51%. So with the exception, Alaska Airlines, ALK, is better than, in terms of return last 6 months, better than Delta, better than Southwest, but you do have American pretty high up there at 93% return, which is, I mean, you can't really complain about that until you see some of the other stocks that we have on the list. All right, so Alaska Airlines is definitely one. If I'm looking for airlines, I might forego Jets and lean more towards more towards Alaska Airlines. Now you are taking on more risk by doing that, because instead of me having, let's say, 20 or so airlines in one ETF for one price, I'm risking it all. I'm not risking it all, but I'm risking it and saying it's going to be Alaska or bust. If Alaska's not good, then I lose money. If Alaska's not good inside of jets, so what? I've got American, Southwest, and so on and so forth there. So you gotta pick and choose. I think again, Jets is the safest option of the ones we'll mention. So we got Jets, we got Alaska Airlines. Those are two of the, I think we said what, 6. So then you got Expedia. That's XPPE. See, I messed up. I was trying to be careful. So EXPE. I'm sorry. EXPE is the stock symbol or the ticker symbol there. They're at about $174 a share. They're also up around the 80 to 85% range over the last 6 months. And the reason why I like Expedia is, one, this is to me, it's an easy call, right? They're a tech company. They're not necessarily in travel in and of itself. It's kind of like a pick and shovel play, if you will. So, people are going to travel, and people are going to hop on planes and trains and buses. I don't know about buses, hotels, all that kind of stuff. I'm knocking over all my things. I'm that excited today. But anyway, if I know people are looking into all that stuff, a lot of them are going to go to Expedia. They're also going to go to Google Flights. But aside from that, they're going to go to Expedia. You can go to Google and then end up on Expedia too. And they're tech. So y'all know I have a bias for tech. It tends to be a spot that tends to grow pretty well. Again, it's up right around that Alaska Airlines level, around the 84-85% last 6 months. So I like Expedia. Personally, I'm waiting on the right price for Expedia. And for me, depending on how things go over the next really month, I'm probably going to replace one of my investments on public with one of these here. So maybe we'll replace it with an airline, replace it with Expedia. I'm looking at you, T-Mobile. If you don't get your stuff right in the next 62 days, you're gonna be out. So I'm looking to see which one of these I can really kind of plug and play there. So Alaska's on my radar, Expedia is on my radar, and these are just, again, some of the ones I like for this sector. Then you've got, I think the stock ticker symbol is WH. I want to say it's Windham, however you say it. Y'all know my pronunciations, especially at night, aren't all the best. The ticker symbol is WH. They are the hotel company. You're going to need a hotel if you're traveling in most cases, unless you're staying with family, which is totally fine because you're saving money. But in either case, they are doing pretty well. And they've started to, like all of these companies, starting to see an uptick in traffic. Now their stock is up 55%. All of these are really good. It's just the market's at 23%. So I'm trying to get you as above 20, as high above 23% as I possibly can. In this case, Wyndham is doing that at about 55%, which is double what the stock market has done in the past 6 months. I think this is a relatively easy one. I mean, it's hotels. We know from here on out that the hotel industry is going to improve, at least for the next year and some change. You can say this for any of these companies, right? But I think it's a pretty easy place to go. They're one of the biggest hotel and resorts companies out there. So, I mean, it's super straightforward, 55% return in the last 6 months. Don't mean you're going to get another 55. We know that, right? But slightly less than the airlines. Now, I'm not entirely sure as to why that's the case, why people are more excited, or why the airlines are just as high as they are compared to hotels. I don't know. But that one has performed pretty well. So it's another one I have my eye on. So we've covered Jets, we covered Expedia, we covered Alaska Airlines, we have Wyndham Suites and Resorts, however you want to say it. And then this one is the ones you may not expect, but it is technically, so it's a lot of, this is a large company that fits into a lot of places, and that's Disney. I mentioned this on Clubhouse. People are going to start to travel to Disney World and Disneyland as things start to open up. That is a significant business for Disney. And I mean, since Disney Plus, right, they've really turned the script. Now, Disney is up about 49% over the last 6 months. So not as exciting as an Alaska Air or Expedia, but you have a lot more diversity. So outside of the ETF, the Jets ETF, because you have more stocks there, Disney, I mean, look how well they did without travel. They still had Disney Plus, they still had ESPN, they still had all the ABC shows when they were able to. Then you got the movie season coming out too, and Disney Plus is it just started, right? It might not have only been a year and some change, maybe, since they like officially launched, maybe a little longer, less than 2 years, I'm pretty sure. So you got the movie season coming out now. Whether or not AMC opens or not, it's not gonna matter. Then they got Disney Plus, then you got Disney World open up, then you got more sports coming out. They got sports out now, but it's only going to get bigger and better on the sports side, on the streaming side, and for the travel side for Disney. So not your traditional travel company, but they do benefit from travel, and that's something you at least want to keep your eye on. So that's number 5. And then number 6, the one that shocked me the most, and I'll kind of illustrate how I came across this. So as I'm doing my research, and we did a whole video on how I kind of do my research, and I went to Jets, looked at Jets, picked up some articles from it, and one thing leads to another and leads to another. So there's an article on Zax.com that talks about Jets and whether or not you should buy it. The articles, whatever. It didn't help. I'll just say that. But at the end, it said, here are 2 other ETFs. So I go look at those other ETFs. They didn't perform all that well. Not good enough to be on this list, but did a little bit more research and found this car company. The ticker symbol is CAR, C-A-R, Avis Car Rental. Didn't know this. They're up 146% over the past 6 months. Again, not an indication if they're going to go up another 146% the rest of this year, or even the next 6 days or 6 months. But it is something I definitely want to keep my eye on. If I go out and look at the past year, 482% over the past 12 months, which is ridiculously crazy. The same logic applies here, but there's one big caveat that makes Avis Rental Budget Group, so Avis Budget Group, because they absorb budget. The thing that stands out here is that they lost a major competitor. Hertz is still bankrupt. Last I checked, Hertz ain't doing so well. And because you have a competitor out of the game and you know travel is about to pick up again, Avis might be the move. So Avis right now is about $88.55. This is one I'm definitely putting on my watch list, and I really, really want to buy it now. Y'all know I try and wait till June, but this I just found it out. I need to do something about this. So what I would do, and this is just me. So you do what you want to do. You got your own goals. Y'all know the deal here. Not responsible for what y'all do. But I really want to get in at like $83. That's like my price that I want to get in based on what I'm seeing from the stock. Ain't no guarantee it's going to go back down to 83. So we'll see, right? But it's just something you want to keep your eye on. That's the one I'm most excited about. So if I were to rank these, I'm not going to rank them all. I know I already got Disney. That's just there. But I'm more so looking at Avis, so CAR, C-A-R. Expedia is the next one I'm looking at. Then I'm coming down and looking at Alaska Air, and then probably Jets. Jets is fine, right? It's up 55. What is it? Yeah, around 50 or so percent. I can't complain, right? But if I'm trying to get just a little bit more, and y'all know I can be a bit more risky at times. So that's where I'm leaning right now. But I came here to talk about Jets, did some research, and found Avis. I'm like, I think that's where I'm going to go. Then I'm going to probably go for Expedia, and then maybe one of the airlines, which would be Alaska. So I wanted to give y'all those 6. Again, those 6 all together are Avis, CAR, C-A-R. Then you got Jets, J-E-T-S. Then you got Expedia, E-X-P-E. Alaska Air, A-L-K. You got Wyndham, W-H. And then you got Disney, D-I-S. Those are the 6. How you invest in it is going to be completely up to you and based on who you are. Again, safety wise, if I'm looking to like make a decent amount, but really, really not lose. Disney is the first one that comes to mind because they're solid, they're established. You know what you're gonna get with Disney. If I'm looking for a little more protection, but not as safe as a Disney, maybe I start to move and say Expedia. I can't tell you the safety of Avis because this is all new to me, but I'm willing to take that based on what we see. I don't see it. I don't see this company falling off. I'm not saying that they're going to continue on this run. I just don't see them falling off. So that's kind of where I'm seeing. If you're looking to make the most money, because the difference, safety, Disney, probably Expedia. If you're looking for the most money, it's probably going to be car. So Avis is probably going to be your biggest bet there, followed by Expedia or Alaska. So notice here that of the names I'm mentioning in the safety box and the growth box, it looks like Expedia falls into both of those categories. So, that's why it's on my personal radar. So all of these I think are pretty good. Again, all of them are beating the market by at least double. So it's really hard to miss there. But overall, based on where we see the economy moving, we know things are opening up. They've been opening up already. You can see from the last 6 months how things are panning out for these companies. So I'll let y'all know. Y'all check me out on public. I'll put that link somewhere for y'all to follow me. But boy, I'm looking real hard at Avis. I got to find some money to do it because that would cause me to sell something because I don't have an unlimited bucket of money just to be pouring into stuff. So we got to see what we're going to do there, but I'm definitely following it as well as some of these other companies. If I don't do anything, I'll do something in June when I get rid of T-Mobile or something like that. All right. That's it for me. I'll talk to you guys later.